Hi everybody. So today we're going to do a little bit of math and we've got two things that we're going to talk about. The first one is we're going to talk about adding. We're going to do it a couple different ways. We can add, remember we can add with our fingers, we can add in our head, we can make dots on our piece of paper, and then we can also add with a number line. So we're going to be doing that a couple different ways. And then the second thing we're going to do is we're going to do those counting by tens as high as we can. We'll see if we can make it all the way to 200 because that's our goal. So today I'm going to be using my marker and my wipe off board, and also I've got some pebbles here that are going to kind of help us out. They're going to be my dots today. You can use anything that you can find around your house to add too. Maybe you've got little toys you can play with, or you can even go out and find some rocks in your yard. So I'm going to switch the camera around so that you can see me drawing on my board. All right. So I've got my marker here, and so we're going to work on some problems. The first one I'm going to do is just an easy one to get us started. So let's try 2 plus 6. Now you might be thinking that you can go ahead and do that one in your head, but if you couldn't do it in your head, you could either use your fingers, you could hold up 6 fingers and then add 2 more fingers. If you didn't want to use your fingers, you could make dots and you could put some dots under there. Now remember, I told you that I have some pebbles to use. So I'm going to go ahead and use my pebbles. You can use anything you find around your house too. And if I want to use pebbles to add, I'm going to put, how many do you think under that one? Ooh, I'm hoping you said 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I did that one first just because that's the bigger one. We talk about how we always want to find the big one in the problem. So 6 over there, and then how many think over here? Ooh, if you said 2, you are right. 2 pebbles on that side. Now, what do I have to do? Oh, I have to add them all. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So my answer would be 8. 6 plus 2 is 8. Let's try another one. Let's try another kind of easier one. Let's do 4 plus 1. Now we talk about whenever we see a plus 1 that really we don't even need fingers or dots or anything, because if we start with the big one, which is 4, and then we add 1 more, that's like just counting on in our head. So it would be 4, 5. That one was a piece of cake. But we could make dots to make sure that we were right, or use pebbles. So I could put 4 pebbles over here and 1 pebble over here, and then do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it would still be 5. Now maybe I didn't have pebbles, and maybe I didn't remember to add on 1 more. I could start with the big one and then just put 1 dot over there. So we know that's 4, 5. So lots of different ways to get 5, but we all still do get 5. Let's try another. Let's do 1 more and then we'll switch to a different way. Let's try a little bit of a bigger one. Let's do 5 plus 4. So remember that this sign right here, that means is or equals. So 5 plus 4 equals. We always want to find that big number. 4 and 5 are pretty close, but I do know that 5 is the bigger one. So if I start with 5, I can put 4 pebbles on this side, but since I underlined 5 because it was the big one, I don't even have to count to 5. I already just lock that in my head and I go 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And the answer would be 9. Okay. Okay, so now you're going to notice I added something to my board. If you remember what this is called a number line. I added a number line. Now normally at school we have our own number lines that we can hop on, but since I don't have one at my house, I just went ahead and wrote one down. And you can do that on your piece of paper too. You can go ahead and write that down. Now if you have a piece of paper and something to write with, you can be doing these problems along with us. So if you don't have one, try to pause it and then maybe go grab one so that you can do the rest of the video with me. So we're going to use our number line, and let's do 6 plus 4. I'm going to do 6 plus 4 on the number line. Now we haven't practiced this a whole bunch, so you might have to think really, really hard to remember how to do this one. We always find the big number. That's always step number 1. So the big number is 6. That's where I'm going to start on my number line. I'm going to start at the 6. And then this number tells us how many hops to make. So if I start at 6, I'm going to make 4 hops, and I always want to hop to the big side because I want my numbers to get bigger. So 1, 2, 3, 4. What did I land at? 10. So 6 plus 4 equals 10. Awesome. Let's do another one. if you have your board, you can even make yourself a number line too. Let's try 2 plus 9. That's a little bit of a bigger one. So I want to look for the big number. Now 2 is first, but it's not the biggest number. I'm actually going to start with 9. 9's the big one. So I'm going to find it on my number line right there. And I need to decide how many hops to make. Well, I need to make 2 hops to the big way. 1, 2. And I landed at 11. So 2 plus 9 equals 11. Awesome job. Let's do one last one. Let's make it a little bit of a challenge one. Let's do 10 plus 3. This one's a little bit big. We can do it though. We're going to use our number line. So I start with the big one. Well, 10 is the big one. It's pretty big. And I'm going to put my finger there, or my marker, and I'm going to add 3 more. So that's 3 hops. Count with me. 1, 2, 3. I landed at 13. Look at that. That wasn't very hard at all. Awesome. Okay, if you remember what was next. Next is counting by tens to 100. So I came inside and I have my board in front of me. And my board, I went ahead and written down all the numbers from 10 to 100 by tens. And what we're going to do is I'm going to count one time by myself, and then I want to see if you can count with me the second time. So just go ahead and listen this first time. See if you can kind of remember that pattern that we did every day during calendar. So it starts off 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Do you remember? Let's find out. Okay, so this time I can't hear you say it, but I want your family at home to hear you say it because they'll be listening to you there. So count along with me this time. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Okay, one last challenge. Let's see if we can do it without looking. So think in your head. You can close your eyes if you need to. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. All right, now time for a super challenge. Your super challenge is to see if you can count by tens all the way to 200. I've got my board here to help us out, and it's got all the numbers from 10 to 200 by tens. So you can count along with me. We'll do it 2 times again. All right, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200. Okay, last time. Make sure you're saying it with me. See if you can get all the way to 200. It's tricky. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. 110, 120, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200. Awesome job. Okay, so the very last part of this video is I'm going to have a little bit of a challenge for you again. This is the part where I'm going to write some adding problems on my board, and I'll go ahead and show it to you, and I want you to see if you can write those down too and figure out what the answer is. And then pause it. Give yourself time to figure each one out, and then I'll show you the answers at the very end, and you can check yourself and see how good you did. Okay. All right, so here's your problems. All you have to do is go ahead and you can pause it right here, and you can write each one of these down. I'll give you a second right now to go ahead and pause it, or maybe you're a super fast writer and you can write them right down anyway. So number 1 is 3 plus 4. Number 2 is 8 plus 2. Number 3 is 6 plus 3, and number 4 is 5 plus 1. So go ahead and try to figure those out. Use your head, use your fingers, use your dots, draw a number line if you'd like to, hop on that number line. Maybe you've got your supplies out, your little pebbles or your rocks, and you can use those to help you count too. I'm going to write the answers on there, so pause it if you don't have them yet. Okay, ready to check yourself? Here we go. 3 plus 4 equals 7. 8 plus
2 equals 10. 6 plus 3 equals 9. And 5 plus 1 equals 6. How did you do? Hopefully you did really, really good. And if not, you can go back to the beginning part of this video and kind of watch that part about adding again to help your brain remember what we do in class every day. All right, bye guys. Great job learning today.